John Hinckley Jr. and Jodie Foster. John Warnock Hinckley Jr. was born in 1955 into a wealthy family in Texas. Despite financial stability, he struggled from an early age with severe depression, social withdrawal, narcissistic and delusional thinking, a deep sense of inadequacy and invisibility. He drifted through college, failed to establish a career, and became increasingly isolated. The Spark, Taxi Driver, 1976. Hinckley's obsession began after watching the film Taxi Driver, starring Jodie Foster. In the movie, Jodie plays a young girl, whom the disturbed protagonist believes he must save. Hinckley did not simply admire the film. He identified with the character and internalized its violent logic. To Hinckley, Jodie Foster became a symbol, not a person. Violence became a way to feel significant. He began to believe a dramatic act would win her attention. The obsession escalates. When Jodie Foster enrolled at Yale University, Hinckley followed Jodie to New Haven, Connecticut. He slipped notes under her dorm door, called her repeatedly, wrote letters expressing devotion and destiny, and watched her from a distance. Jodie was frightened and reported the behavior. The university security became aware, but Hinckley was never arrested at that stage. Hinckley became convinced that only a historic act would prove his worth to Jodie. He fixated on political assassination, reasoning that it would make him famous and Jodie would finally notice him. The act would be for her. He first stalked President Jimmy Carter, but was arrested on gun charges and released. The assassination attempt, March 30th, 1981. Outside the Washington Hilton Hotel, Hinckley attempted to assassinate President Ronald Reagan. He fired 6 shots in seconds. President Reagan was seriously wounded. Press Secretary James Brady was permanently disabled, and 2 law enforcement officers were injured. Hinckley was immediately arrested at the scene. The shocking motive. During interrogation and trial, Hinckley openly stated he carried out the shooting to impress Jodie Foster. This revelation stunned the public and deeply traumatized Jodie, who had never met him personally. Trial and not guilty by reason of insanity. In 1982, Hinckley was found not guilty by reason of insanity. He was committed to St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Washington, D.C. The verdict sparked national outrage and led to major reforms in insanity defense laws, stricter standards for psychiatric testimony, and changes in how juries evaluate mental illness. Jodie Foster's response. Jodie Foster avoided public discussion of the case, increased personal security, and focused on her career and privacy. She has spoken only briefly over the years, emphasizing that she was an unwilling symbol, not a participant in Hinckley's delusions. Hinckley's release. After decades of confinement, Hinckley was gradually granted supervised outings. In 2016, he was released to live with his mother under strict conditions. In 2022, he was fully released from court oversight. He now lives quietly, barred for years from contacting Foster or discussing her publicly. Why this case matters. This case demonstrates how parasocial obsession can turn violent, the danger of conflating fame with intimacy, how notoriety can motivate extreme acts, the limits of the mental health system in predicting violence. Unlike other stalker cases, this violence was indirect, aimed at a third party. The victim became a symbol, not a target. The harm rippled far beyond the obsession itself. Subscribe and follow us for more true stories.